The Chicago Sky got a positive update in regards to Chennedy Carter and her possible availability in the Sky's next game. We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, we're going to catch up on some of the odds and ends news that we missed. Plus, Kamilla Cardoso has been balling, and we're going to get into more details on that as well. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. My name is Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. So first up, we got word today that Chennedy Carter was a full participant in the Chicago Sky's practice today, which is a really good thing. Chennedy Carter, who's been bedridden, who's missed 4 straight games. She's missed 5 out of the last 7 games for the Chicago Sky. And overall, you want to just get Chennedy Carter back on the court for the Chicago Sky. As a starter, Chennedy was averaging almost 20 points per game, 17 points per game over the course of the season. And with the Chicago Sky's offense being as stagnant as what it's been, you definitely want to get Chennedy Carter back out there if you can. And so hearing that she at least made it through a full practice, was that full participant in practice, that's everything that we need to know as far as her. Now, the Sky are trying to hold on to that 8th and final playoff spot. Are they trying to do? And it's going to be a tall test for the Chicago Sky to do it. And, they have a handful of games left on the season, and it's not outside the realm of possibility. If Chennedy Carter comes back here and she's the scorer that we all know that she can be and that she's shown at times for the Chicago Sky during the season, it's going to be big for her. The Sky have 7 games left on this season, and out of those 7 games, they're going to probably have to try to win about 5 of those if they want to just outrightly hold on to that final playoff spot. And so we'll see if the team can do that. I mean, this has been a team that's defense has started getting back on track. Kamilla Cardoso is playing a lot better as well, which if you pair that with some guard play with Chennedy Carter, maybe you're looking at it. But all the other 7 playoff spots in the WNBA are already locked in. Every other team, when you look at it, the Liberty are locked in, the Sun, the Minnesota Lynx, the Las Vegas Aces, the Seattle Storm, the Indiana Fever, and the Phoenix Mercury all locked in. It's down to 1 remaining spot open. And there's basically 3 teams, kind of 4 really when you look at it. And technically with the number of games that's remaining, any team really, if the Los Angeles Sparks, for example, were to win out for the rest of the way, whereas a lot of other teams lose the majority of the games, they even aren't outside of contending for that 8th spot. But really when it comes down to it, the most likely scenario are the Chicago Sky, the Atlanta Dream, and the Mystics, with the Dallas Wings initially playing a little bit better. They're 4-6 in their last 10, but they lost 2 games in a row. But the Chicago Sky that at one point had a 4-game advantage over the next team below them, we've seen all that just completely go away with the 7-game losing streak that the Sky have been on. So right now the Sky are tied with the same number of wins with the Atlanta Dream. The one thing that's keeping them above the Dream is that the tiebreaker in the WNBA is built around the head-to-head matchups. And, with the Sky winning more games against the Dream right now and 1 game remaining on their schedule as well against the Dream, it's going to be really important that the Sky not only win that game that they have coming up against the Dream, but they keep playing well over this, or they start, I can't say keep, that they start playing well over this final stretch of the season. And for what it's worth, the players are really still confident that they can get some things done. I don't know how much I share that, but the Sky have, like I said, a steep challenge to get it done. Dana Evans saying this: it's just the next game mentality. The league is so good. If you sulk and lost, you will not be good for the next game. So we just got to be ready to play. It doesn't mean stop. You don't give up. We're not going to quit. We want to get into the playoffs. So just staying focused and staying together is key. That's what she said on Tuesday night. Isabel Harrison as well, saying as a team, we have to remain positive and continue to talk to each other. We can't hang our heads. We have so much more work to do. This is a great group. I don't care what anybody says. This is a really good group. We're going to figure it out. So let's hope that they can do that. And one of the things that can help the Sky figure it out over this course is keep hanging on the play of Kamilla Cardoso. Since the Olympic break, Kamilla Cardoso is averaging almost a double-double at 13 points and 9 rebounds per game since the Olympic break. And that's a really big output when you look at how our season started off, not really scoring as aggressively as what a lot of us would have liked to see from Kamilla Cardoso. But like I've said many times over the stretch, is that Kamilla just had a normal rookie season. And the WNBA season is such a short season in the framework of kind of the other leagues, especially the NBA, is that when you miss some time, like Kamilla Cardoso did, You then are starting to ramp up much later. And she came back at a time where a lot of the rookies had already kind of caught their rhythm. And then so she had to just catch up to that. And then on top of that, the lineups changed drastically. We haven't always had the best guard play to even get her the ball at times. We still don't have it, but she's being a lot more aggressive more consistently, which is now leading to Kamilla Cardoso playing a lot better. So if you pair that with better play from our guard position, once you get Chennedy Carter and get an actual legit scorer out there with her, hopefully things start looking better for the Sky over the remaining games that they have. Now, I'm not going to say that that's a for sure thing that's going to happen there. Like, I hold out hope that is going to happen, but we're 33 games in to a 40-game season. We got 7 games left. This is the final 7 games. And the Sky got to figure it out. We're a terrible home team. We're 4-12 at home. We're 7-10 on the road. Whatever that means over the last stretch of the season is what it means. But, we're hoping that the Sky team can start putting it together. So, getting Chennedy Carter back as soon as the game that happens tomorrow night is going to be a big deal if we can get her back and she's fully healthy. Now, don't expect Chennedy maybe to be herself right away. We'll see. Like, maybe she is going to be able to do that, but if not, we'll see. We have the game against the Sparks, then we got the game against the Wings, which I think that game against the Wings is important too, because if we lose against them and they start leapfrogging us, they can take our pick. We can get a worse pick. So really, when you look at it, the second to last game of the season against the Dream could very well be important, but also the game against Dallas is really important in that time period as well, and really all the ones are. So, let's hope that we're able to do that. But the Dream are knocking at the door. They're not the only team, and it can get really ugly for the Chicago Sky if they can't snap this losing streak. So let's hope that's gonna get it. I'm glad to hear that the team has a lot of confidence leading into the playoffs. And saying you have confidence is one thing. We have to start showing that we have that confidence by playing correctly into it. And so when you look at some of the things that have been ailing the team, turnovers have been terrible. The Chicago Sky, since the Olympic break, are second in the WNBA in turnovers. That's not good enough to get it done. That's not good enough if we keep doing that. On top of course, our offense has been stagnant because we've been missing our best player. So that's definitely hurt the team as well over this last stretch. And so hopefully Chennedy Carter coming back helps a lot of that, helps kind of course correct a lot what's going on with the team. Missing those 17 points per game is important. Now you're adding that to a player in Angel Reese who's still averaging 13 and 13, which is really good there. Kamilla Cardoso's coming around here on the last part of the season. She's almost averaging a double-double on the season, but she's definitely averaging that since near that since the All-Star break. So if you can leverage, and those are the 3 players that we've really been looking at throughout this time that are definitely part of the Sky's future, less that we hope they're going to be. If you can leverage that, that's going to go a long way in helping improve your outlook to make the playoffs heading into it. And then, of course, on top of that, like McKenna Onlywerde playing a lot better here recently as well, right? So if you can get those things and we can start playing better as a team and, to see how the offense starts rounding out with having some of those pieces back, that's going to be a big thing for the Chicago Sky team, and I hope that they can get it together. Am I saying outright that I just believe the Sky are just going to all of a sudden turn the corner just because Chennedy Carter comes back? No. Unfortunately, we have had so many issues with turnovers, so many issues with lack of key rebounds at times, even in games where we have out-rebounded teams or kept the rebounding battle close. That's been a problem. And overall, our execution on both sides of the ball since the Olympic break has been an issue. We're starting to get back right on the defensive side of the ball for the most part, but we still got a whole hell of a lot of work to do on both sides of the ball before I'm willing to look at us and say, hey, we're clearly going to make that playoffs. We got work to do. 7 games left on the season. And over those 7 games, it's going to be hugely important to watch what the Sky do, man. And I listen, I hope all my worry and concern here proves to not be something that we need to do. Maybe Chennedy Carter comes back. She's the exact shot in the arm that we needed. This team starts playing a lot better. But listen, because the Atlanta Dream are coming. They're playing some of their best basketball right now, and they're going to try to finish out the season strong and trying to push for a playoff position. So the hope is that the Chicago Sky are going to be prepared, ready to go, and then they're going to be able to, like I said, Chennedy getting back, being that shot in the arm on the offensive side of the ball. That's really a lot of what the Sky need, man. And hopefully between that and Kamilla Cardoso playing better and things like that, they were able to kind of get this thing back going. And, the pressure that Chennedy Carter puts on defenses is something that could really help the Chicago Sky team out a lot with the passing lanes and some of the other. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect and it's going to cure everything, but it could be, just help things go in the right direction and make it a little bit easier for the Chicago Sky to finish out this season. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that the Chicago Sky are really going to be able to have enough of a push over these last 7 games to lock in a playoff spot? Or do you think they're going to wind out falling out of the playoffs? And, at that point, the chips fall where they may. We already knew that everything wasn't about just this season. It's about what the Sky are building for the future. And they've shown a lot of things, and I do think in a lot of ways as well, looking at Angel Reese's performance has been really good. But to see Kamilla Cardoso playing this way that she has since the Olympic break has really been a breath of fresh air, even amongst all the losing that the Chicago Sky have been doing. But with that said, I want to catch up on a story that we did not get to talk about just because of the nature of just how everything was going on and things like that. And that come down to Dana Evans. So, there was a day with Dana Evans' agent kind of going on a tirade on Twitter as far as complaining about the team and the treatment of Dana Evans and things like that. And it came out that Dana Evans requested a trade. And Dana Evans since has basically said, yes, she did request a trade. She eventually came off that trade request because, why worry about it, basically. She is a free agent at the end of the season. So, we'll see what happens there with that. But, this just adds to where the Sky are right now, right? This is a team where I think a lot of the players here were brought here by James Wade. And, things have really shifted since that initial team. Basically, since the Chicago Sky, after the first season after winning the title, with Candace Parker was still here, they were still a team that really had those hopes and dreams and wishes that they were going to still be able to go right back to contending for a title. They weren't. Candace Parker left. It caused a lot of change, and then we made even more change this past offseason. And so I think when you see things like what happened with Marina Mabrey, Dana Evans requesting a trade, and probably for all that, we know that she's going to be out of here by the end of the season. It just signifies the change that's needed here for the Sky. And I think everybody understands the Sky's focus this offseason should probably be a point guard. And, some people have asked, like, well, can Chennedy Carter be that point guard for the Chicago Sky? I don't really see that. I think that we've seen Chennedy isn't a point guard, and the Sky need a true point guard. One also that can stretch the floor out, but Chennedy really isn't that passer, and I think that that's fine. I don't say that as a slight to Chennedy Carter at all. I say that more so as that's just what it is. Let's not try to make players something that they aren't, and appreciate what the players are and put them in the proper situations and scenarios where we can get the best out of them. I think that's the thing that we need to focus on more so than trying to make a player something that they just aren't at this point. And Chennedy Carter is not a point guard, and that is perfectly fine. I want to be clear and repeat this once again. It is perfectly fine for Chennedy Carter not to be a true point guard. It's fine. Now you just need to figure out how you supplement what she does or does not bring so that you can best build a team. And that is why team and roster construction is hugely important in trying to build a team because, listen, the Sky are trying to get this thing done. And, I know that we showed a lot of promise at the start of the season, but this team is still far off from being a championship contender. And because of that, it is. We're going to lose some players that we want. We're going to lose some players that we don't want to keep. And it all is going towards the place of building a sustainable roster that can get you where you need to go. And, for Jeff Paglioccia, he has my faith. What he's done in this time period since coming into the team, initially trying to get in Nneka Ogwumike here and Skylar Diggins, trying to get them here to pair with Kamilla Cardso, immediately realizing, hey, we did not have the success in getting the signatures that we needed to bring those players to this team. Had a conversation with Ka, understood that they weren't going to be able to build something quick enough for Kamilla Cardso to be able to contend, and you went out and made a series of moves that got you 2 first-round picks that turned into Kamilla Cardoso, and it turned into Angel Reese. Over the course of making those deals, you also got Chennedy Carter, who we know has been a dog for the Chicago Sky. So Paglioccia has shown a really good ability to show some future foresight, and for that, he gets my credit for right now, and he gets my faith for right now until, some things start going left. We'll see what the Sky do. I like the pickup that he's made, even, how you pivoted from Marina Mabrey and getting another first-round pick, so you have 2 first-round picks yet again in the draft. Listen, Jeff Paglioccia has been low-key cooking. And, while, Teresa Weatherspoon has some growing pains that she needs to do as a head coach, it is what it is. I'm not going to hold her feet to the fire for that either. Overall, just navigating this thing and coming into a team that had a head coach and general manager combo and, already had a lot of things in place, and the way he was able to navigate that and come out on the other side of that with a vision, right? We have a path. Is the path perfect yet? Are the Sky this great winning team yet? No, but they do have a path, and that is the thing that as a GM, that's your job to do, is to put your team on the path, see that path outright, and then come out on the other side of that hopefully much better than where you were before. And so Jeff Paglioccia has done that. We're going to hope to continue to see that. I can't wait to see what and how he gets creative in this offseason. We have a handful of restricted free agents that, the Sky could work out signing trades to where you're getting some type of asset or player to add depth or whatever it is back in your roster in that case. And for that, I can't knock him for that either. So keep doing what you're doing, and then we'll see how it's going to go. Overall, man, that's my thoughts. You guys can let me know how you think on all those topics down below. Make sure you're following the show at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Sky. Love you guys. And we'll see you guys next time we go to Skytown. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.